Going live any moment here. And we're live. I think we're live. And we're recording as well. Okay, excellent. Perfect. Hey, everybody. And how y'all doing? Welcome. Happy to see you here on this fine evening. Welcome, everybody. I'm Rob Booker, best-selling author of Adventures of a Currency Trader and Trading by Faith. And tonight we're going to look at the Australian interest rate decision. Welcome. Good morning to you if you're joining us for the first time. If you're not joining us for the first time, welcome. Glad to see you here. I'm going to turn on a light or two, shed some light on the subject. See if we can get this going. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty dark right there, wasn't it? It's like I was sitting in the shadows. Okay, I've got my screen ready to go here mostly. And earlier today, I traded the Australian dollar and the Australian dollar Japanese yen. And in a moment, we will look at those trades. I've recorded a video, and I'm going to be able to input that video straight into tonight's broadcast. And there's the account. Going to do some short-term trading. Might also do some spot FX trading. There we go. I got some trades open already. We can look at the open positions right down here. Everything's at a loss right now and requires price to move outside of its current range. I'll talk about the Australian dollar Japanese yen position to start with. You can see here that right before the interest rate decision, and I'm showing my chart now, and I'm going to bring up the chat window in just a moment as well. I will be able to read your chats and say hello to you, so say hi. Okay, I'm going to undo both of those lines that I just drew. Okay. Right now we're trading in basically a range, 82.37. 82.37. Fall below that range or rise above that range. It's not hard to imagine price doing that after the interest rate decision. In fact, it'd be insane to think otherwise. So I traded a contract or two that will benefit from price falling. If you look at the longer term, price has done 1, 2, 3 legs upward. And it seems completely reasonable that here at the release of the Australian interest rate, we're going to see price move lower. It seems completely reasonable. And that's why I have set things up to benefit from price falling. In fact, it was really inexpensive to trade something that wins if price goes below 82.20 and if price goes below 82. In fact, I risked 9 to make 91 and risked 27 to make 73. And I'm going to just set an order to buy back these contracts at a win. I don't even need it to make very much. I just want to start things off successfully here. All right, if you're wondering what we're doing here, and you've just joined us now, My name is Rob Booker, and I am primarily an FX trader. I do trade some stocks from time to time. I'm here in my office in Houston, Texas. And we're going to do some live trading tonight. We're going to watch the release of the interest rate decision. I've recorded a video that you can actually watch during the broadcast that describes how I took some of the trades that I took that are already open. And we'll watch the interest rate decision come out. We may even take a spot FX decision or two. And the Australian dollar, Japanese yen is my favorite instrument for trading at the release of an interest rate decision like this. And we're going to take a quick look here at the contracts that are available. We're trading at 82.37 right before the release. And what happens if price just really jumps up? Could I trade something that will benefit from price jumping? 82.60, that's 20 points higher. That's not very much. We could trade one of those. So I see if I get filled on that. I did. So I risked 16 to make 84. And I would sell that if that turns out to be even remotely profitable. So I have limit orders in on some of these trades to benefit if price moves in my favor. I need to see the Australian dollar, US dollar as well. I'm going to remove the RSI from these charts. Don't need to see it. And we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the Australian dollar, US dollar, and the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. We're 2 minutes away from the release of the interest rate decision, unless I'm having a major problem with the time-space continuum. Nope. RBA rate statement. All right, let's see. I have some contracts on the Australian dollar, US dollar. I will benefit if price jumps up. And I will benefit if price goes down. 72.28. I would get out of that if I made. So I risked 24 to make 76. I'd go ahead and put a limit order in on that one as well. So I have limit orders in on some and not on others. If price really zooms upward, I wouldn't mind selling these three contracts. I paid $12.75 for those. I don't know, I'd sell them for 40. And we are at the release of the interest rate decision, or the rate statement. And I see absolutely nothing happening to price. That could be a very uninteresting interest rate trading decision, in which case we will be doing some other trading. Price is moving up a bit. That's not bad. Okay, so we have a profit and loss on some of these. Our bullish Australian dollar, Japanese yen position is profitable. That's nice, not by very much. So, I might throw some things here. Might toss some things around the office. It looks like absolutely nothing interesting happened here. And I'm sure we'll see something come through on the feed momentarily. If you are just joining us now, my name is Rob Booker. Welcome to the broadcast. I do want to see your comments as we go. I guess one way to do this is to go straight to the YouTube dashboard. So I'm going to jump on over there while you are watching me play around here. Love to know where you're from, so give me a shout out, say hello. There we go. Turned off the audio on that one, so there's no chance that that's going to be a problem. Live control room. Looks like we've got a good crowd here. That's fantastic. Oh, and I could see the chat. That's fantastic. I could even share the chat with you, and we could see the charts on the side. Ron's here. He's trading 19 pairs on the Finch. Thierry's here. Andres is here. Hey, Andres, nice to see you. Roger's here. Mike O in Oz is here. Hello from Peru, says Daniel. Gabriel says hi. So give me a shout out. Say hello. Nice to see you here. So not very much movement. I suspect that there was no change in the interest rate, or everyone at the Reserve Bank of Australia is high and they forgot to do something. So I'm just going to do what any person would do in this same situation. I'm going to take off my clothes. I mean, not all of them. So my office has like terrible climate control problems. In the middle of the day, it's freezing cold because the air conditioning is running too strong. And then in the nighttime, when I'm gone for the day, they turn off the air conditioning. So if I come back to work, it's absolutely ridiculous. So here we go. Pulling this back up. Looks like this all got trapped in there, and this can come out here. That actually sounds better when I don't even wear it. Wow, that's fantastic. Okay. All right, I'm back. Not very much movement here on price. It's as if there was no interest rate decision whatsoever. I mean, I'm fine if all of these are a max loss. I didn't pay very much for any of these contracts that are on the screen right now. I'll walk you through what I paid for these, and then maybe we'll get a chance to watch the video where I show you what trades I took earlier today. I paid $9 for that, $27 for this, $16 for this, $6 for this, $10 for this, $24 for this, and $12. So they're all really small trades. They don't really mean much. It's no big deal. And actual interest rate was 1.5, which was exactly what was forecast. I didn't show you anything that I was just talking about, so I'll go back and show you that again. All right. Nice to see you, Tom. Nice to see Crypto Banker from Amsterdam. Good to see you all. Oh, my FX book has a better economic calendar. Hey, thanks, Barry. We'll check out that economic calendar. We'll check it out right here. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. What a nice economic calendar. All right, thanks, Barry. I'll be checking that one out. Carmen says good morning from South Africa. FL Kate says hi from Wisconsin. Nice to see you as well. Well, what a load of garbage this interest rate decision is. Holy smokes. All right, let me walk you back through exactly what I've got open and what I paid for it. And we could talk a little bit about spot trading as we can proceed. Just once again, I paid $8.50, $26.25. I paid $16, paid $6, paid $8.50, paid $23.50, and $12.75. All reasonably small trades, and they all have 2 hours and 23 minutes to start moving, which they may not start moving at all. I'll be interested to read the rate statement. We can talk about fundamentals together, and we can also talk a little bit about some discretionary trades that are possible given the fact that we haven't moved right now. That means probably we'll move later on. And so I want to have some things set up, and those may be discretionary trades. Some of the most interesting trades going on right now are also in like British pound Canadian, and we're going to look at a spot trade that we could take on that one as well. But because things are so slow, why don't I show you a video that I shot earlier today that describes how I took the first positions in the Australian dollar US dollar. With about 12 hours to go, a little bit less than 12 hours to go to the interest rate decision in Australia, I'm looking at a 60-minute chart. And here at the top of the 60-minute chart is a weekly pivot. It's this week's pivot. This is the monthly pivot down here in purple, and the green pivot is the weekly pivot. And I would say it's reasonably easy enough for price to get to the weekly pivot after that decision, that interest rate decision is made. It's also reasonably easy to expect that price could break below the lows at the time of that interest rate decision, or even before it. So that's about 72.50, the weekly pivot, and below the lows is about 72 even. And what I can do even before the interest rate decision is released is get a trade that will profit from price going above or below those levels. And so let's take a look at the contracts. These are contracts that expire in 14 hours. That's perfect because that gives us time after the interest rate decision is made. And we want to get these trades set up and ready to go. So 72.60. So if I click here, this is a trade that profits from price finishing above 72.60 within 14 hours. So if I click there, I might want to trade maybe 2 of those and pay $12.75. That looks like a price I could possibly get. I could risk $25 and make $174. If I could risk $38, I could make $261. That seems reasonable. And that order is open. So that position is open right now. And it's not a winning position right now. As you can see, if I expand this a little bit, we're down $18, and that's fine. I also want to take a trade that profits from price falling. So let's see if we can find something that profits from price falling below 7,200. Or maybe the next one lower is 7,180. That's way down there. 7,200. That's going to cost me a little bit more as of right now. So just one of those is going to be $22 to make 77. 2 of those is going to be $45 to make 155. Now, no matter what, I'm going to spend $45 on this, and I have to make that back somehow. So if this entire contract expires worthless and I lose $45, I've got to make it up on this other contract from price rising. That's why I keep saying over and over and over again, I want to pay as little as possible. Let's see what else is out here in the realm of possibility. 71.60. So if price really drops down lower, like a long way down, and that's not out of the question. That's 60 pips in a matter of 14 hours when there's an interest rate decision. So I could spend, let's see here if I can get a $94 contract. Spend 6 to make 94. Spend 12 to make 188. So I'm going to take that because that's easy enough to make back. I don't have to worry about that one being profitable. I'll let the system work on that order and see if I can get filled on that order. I also could possibly trade something that profits from price going below 71.80. That's going to be $10 to make $90. All right, I'll go ahead and do one of those if I can, and I'll just let it fill me at, mark at $10, $12 is fine. And then we've got the big one, the 7,200 order. And that's expensive. That's more than I generally want to spend. So I'm only going to take one of those, risk 23 to make 76. And then as we get closer to the decision, I will see what I can do to add to these positions and maybe get a couple of others. So we're still working on the 2 lower positions. Those haven't been filled yet. They may not get filled. But I do have 2 open positions, one that benefits if price rises and one that benefits if price falls. And that's good enough for me. All right, and we're back. Thanks for watching that. That was a pre-recorded video that I did earlier today when I took the positions that I took so that I could later on have a record of exactly what I was thinking at the time I took those positions. All right, back to the live charts and whatnot. Okay, not very much movement here. As you can see on the right side of the screen, these candles are super small with kind of an emphasis on bullishness immediately after the decision, which I've got to say was not prepared for. Well, I mean, okay, I was prepared for it from the perspective that I have trades on that will benefit from that. But I had a personal thought that maybe price would fall. Still think it might, especially considering that they didn't raise the interest rate. Probably no room for really raising the interest rate in Australia. Now, I know some of you are going to find this to be completely ridiculous and not interesting, but I am very interested in reading the release. Okay, here's the statement. At its meeting today, the board decided to leave the cash rate unchanged at 1.5%. The global economic expansion is continuing. A number of advanced economies are growing at an above-trend rate, and employment rates are low. Growth in China has slowed a little. I think growth in China has probably slowed a lot, and they're probably not really talking as much about that as they could. With the authorities easing policy while continuing to pay close attention to the risks in the financial sector. Isn't it? I find it kind of interesting that interest rates are on the rise in the United States and the economy is strong. The stock market is just out of control. Employment is strong. Manufacturing is strong-ish. And in China, it's the opposite. Go figure. I mean, after all these years of talking about it in the opposite direction. Globally, inflation remains low. That's a lie, especially if you count food and fuel. Although it has increased to do both higher oil prices and wage growth. All right, I got half of that, right? A further pickup in inflation is expected given the tight labor markets and in the U.S., the sizable fiscal stimulus. Right, the United States Federal Reserve pumped so much money into the economy. It's like a big, giant, what's the girl that drank that blueberry stuff in Willy Wonka? Veruca? I don't remember if that was her. Anyway, one ongoing uncertainty regarding the global outlook stems from the direction of international trade policy in the United States. I think that's just a lot of talk, and turns out that a lot of deals are made. Financial conditions in the advanced economies remain expansionary. There's been broad-based appreciation of the U.S. dollar. That's true. Money market rates are higher. Latest national accounts, terms of trade, outlook for the labor market remains positive. Inflation's around 2%, which most governments want. Conditions in Sydney and Melbourne housing markets have continued to ease, so they don't need to raise interest rates. The low level of interest rates is continuing to support the Australian economy. So, I mean, from everything that you can see here, this is a reserve bank that doesn't want to raise interest rates right now. You'd think, and this is kind of what I was thinking earlier today, based on all of that, you would think that the Australian dollar is going to fall because they've said the economy's fine, but there's no need to raise interest rates right now. And I think if you factor in the concern over trade policy, and if you factor in the slowing growth in China, you got to keep interest rates low in Australia. They're not dealing with the same property values expanding as we are in the United States. They're not dealing with the same inflationary pressures that maybe we are in the United States. Wage growth in the U.S. is going to increase most likely. So I don't know. I think I'm a little surprised. Stephen Miller says the banks put up their own interest rates a few weeks ago, independent to these people, so that may have had an effect. Hey, Chad's here from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Bit of movement on the pound Aussie, but still only around 24 pips. Yeah, and all of our contracts with 2 hours left to go are basically just sitting around doing nothing. What a bunch of lazy contracts here. I mean, price is coming off the highs here. And you could see the 5-minute charts. The 5-minute charts are so slow. Yeah, that's just, They look almost exactly alike, don't they? Initial movement upward as people read about strong growth. And they probably read the part about property values not going out of control, and that just settled things back down again. Yeah, all right. It's probably a good time, as good a time as any, to look at some of the most interesting spot trades that are out there. And this is one of them. This is the British pound Canadian dollar. You can see this is a 1-hour chart. This green line running up and down the screen means the RSI was oversold on 5 time frames simultaneously. The 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 60 minute, and the 240 minute. That's an RSI 5 line. I didn't mean to draw it like that. Let's try that again. I didn't mean to draw it like that. That's the RSI 5 line right there. Then we have bullish Knoxville divergence right down there at the bottom. So there's the floor. I think we might fall lower. And then Wednesday or Thursday of this week, make a really nice jump to the weekly and the monthly pivot. And that's the green and purple lines on the chart right there. I think that would be absolutely reasonable to expect that. I already bought the British pound Canadian dollar. I already bought the Canadian dollar Schweizer franc. I mean, this one's just brutal. Check this out. RSI is overbought on 5 time frames simultaneously. We gapped open at the beginning of the week, and we printed more bearish Knoxville divergence. We've got a monthly pivot in purple and a weekly pivot in green. I've already sold one, but I will sell more. This is just spot FX trading right there. Medium-term charts, swing trades. I'd expect every trade that we're going to look at right here in the next few minutes to close within the next 3 days to 7 days at the most. Let's look at the Euro Canadian. I also just want to remove all these drawing tools. There's the Euro Canadian. Also think this one might move up. Lots of oversold charts. The 1 minute was oversold. The 5 minute was oversold. The 60 minute was oversold. 3 times. 3 times a lady. And we got bullish Knoxville divergence. And like a trend. That's not a very good trend line. Maybe we could draw some fib retracements. I was really looking forward to a big move after the interest rate decision. Okay, that's the fib retracement there. I think it's reasonable to expect price to rise to 1.4917. But what we'd really like to see is price break through 48.73 first. And if we do break above 49.20, That puts 49.94 or 1.5 into play. Price is moving nowhere on the Australian dollar. Wow. Johnny says, that's what I would have thought. Chad says, oh, he already read that. I think you can go home to the family now, not much happening. Barry, I totally agree. Chris says, do you think the fact that X-Rapid launched earlier this afternoon? Oh, that's the Ripple thing. Ripple's cryptocurrency product goes live for the first time with 3 financial firms. It uses the cryptocurrency XRP to carry out international transactions. Yeah, as anyone who's ever wired money around the world can attest to, it's a pain in the butt. The gum chewer Veruca. Jim O remembered exactly who it was. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate that, Jim. All right, everybody. Not a lot happening here. We're 23 minutes into the release of the report. I can't see any reason why we would sit around waiting for this to pop off. Now, we have more stuff coming out. We have the non-farm payroll report coming out on Friday, the Canadian employment report coming out on Friday. And those are going to be great, probably. Tomorrow morning, I think we have the ISM. Let's double check that tomorrow morning. Okay, Fed Chair Powell speaks tomorrow. We had the ISM today already, excuse me. Fed Chair Powell, anytime he speaks, 11:45 a.m. tomorrow, Central U.S. time. If you follow me on the YouTube channel, here's what you should do. Click the subscribe button, but also click that bell next to the subscribe button. That'll notify you. And tomorrow, maybe I'll go live right before Powell speaks, and we'll do a little bit more of this and see if anything, pops. Doesn't look like we're going to get very much movement here. You win some, you lose some, right? We'll take one last look at the charts. I kind of liked the microphone sitting on this thing in front of me. That worked out better. Love you all very much. Really happy to spend some time with you. Sometimes we're going to get a lot of movement. Sometimes we're not. In this case, we didn't. But, things will change. All right, next time, everybody, I promise that I will make the currency market move. I will just force it to move. I will ripple it into movement. I will transfer money globally in order to force the market to move. Thank you to Jim. Thank you to Mike. Thank you to Warren and Chris and everyone else that spent some time here together with us this evening. Warren just started watching the videos on Sunday. Thanks for the info. Nice to have you here, Warren. Mike, looks like there's a Chinese holiday today and tomorrow. Maybe that adds to the lack of volatility. That is very true. Jim says, I'm on the third trade on Pound CAD. As a matter of fact, I am as well, Jim. And it may take another few days for that one to work out. It may even fall further. Falls below the lows, I might close that third trade. Okay, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow for Fed Chair Powell and his raucous Senate hearings. Just kidding. Bye for now.